Welcome to Women Who Brand, a podcast that spotlights inspiring women in the creative industry. I'm Alejandra Salazar, founder and CEO of CROING, which is part of the 0.1% of creative agencies founded by a woman. And I'll be your host today. This podcast is part of an initiative of CROING to inspire women in the industry by sharing the journey and insights of those who are leading the way. Women Who Brand are creative, strategic, and visionary forces in the world of marketing. They make an impact in both the role and the industry as a whole. Whether through campaigns, storytelling, or experiences, they shape how people perceive, interact with, and remembers a brand. In this episode, we talk with Tracy Doyle, the SVP Brands and Cultures at Diageo. This episode is so rich in insight that if you are trying to tap into culture, I will stay listening. She explains concepts and ways to get it right when it comes to culture that only someone with her level of experience and passion for life could. For leaders, stay tuned to hear about the Amazon folder, which I'm sure your teams will value if you implement it. And for every marketer with a purpose, this is for you. So please join me in welcoming our next woman who brand, Tracy Doyle.
Hello.
Welcome!
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so happy to have you here.
It's great to see you. Yes, I'm very, very much looking forward to this conversation.
Love it. For those who don't know, Tracy is the Senior Vice President, Brands and Culture at Diageo, and we have the honor to have her here today. So pay attention because we are about to talk about great things that I know you will love. Tracy and I met thanks to Julie Juffy. If you haven't heard that episode, go and check it out because it's the best. She's awesome and amazing. Julie and I ran into each other the other day at Adwick House Racket Club, and she introduced me to the amazing Tracy. A day later, we talk about culture, of course, and the Diageo's purpose, and I'm excited to explore today how Tracy brings it to life in her leadership and her day-to-day work. Tracy is an amazing woman that you will get to know better, and I love that your focus is on culture, just like we do at Crowing, focus on helping brands connect genuinely with audience through culture. And that's why you're perfect for Women Who Brand.
Oh.
And I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you. So let's get started. Tracy, tell us about what led you to pursue a career in marketing and how do you feel in your current role at Diageo?
Yeah, I was a communications major in college. So I've always been very interested in the narrative and the storytelling and all of those pieces that are involved in communication. And when I graduated, I went straight into advertising. I grew up at Leo Burnett Chicago and
Okay.
cutting my teeth in account management, and I was able to work across a wide variety of clients. And I think that's where agency training is great because you suddenly realize that, like, often solving for the same consumer problem, no matter what category or what product you're working on, whether it's car insurance or breakfast cereal, oftentimes it's going to be about driving awareness, bringing back lapsed users, launching innovations. Like, I'm sure you see this in your world as well.
Of course.
And from there, I made the move to New York. And that's when I decided to shift into the experiential agency world. I was super curious about brand experiences. We all know it's curiosity is what drives all of us as marketers. Experiential was on the rise, and, like, candidly, I wanted to be a part of it. And I had also, I've always been drawn to just, like, the earned space within marketing. There's such a powerful potential for storytelling, especially when you are creating more of, like, brand acts than just, like, straight up brand ads. So I spent 7 years at an amazing experiential agency here in the city, MKG. And
Okay.
that's when I decided I was going to give the brand side a go, which landed me at Diageo, leading the brands and culture team. And it's exactly as it sounds. We are there. We're a center of excellence within the marketing group. It's a team of 20, and the job is to really, like, connect our portfolio of brands into culture via, like, those people, places, and spaces that are going to not only, like, drive long-term saliency for our brands, but also short-term sales. So functionally, it's all about PR, influencer, creator, entertainment, sports, experiential, and partnerships and sponsorships.
Love it. Love
Yeah,
it. What
yeah,
a journey.
it's been a great journey.
I didn't know that you were from agency side. That's
Yeah,
super. That's
yeah.
beautiful. And Diageo is your first like other side of the marketing. Love it, brand side, yes. So love through your career and given the commitment involved in working with a focus on culture for brands, how do you evaluate whether an idea or an initiative is the right one to move forward with? Do you follow a specific process or is more of a feeling?
I think it's a really powerful question because for me, it's such a reinforcement of like marketing truly being that blend of art and science.
Correct.
So my answer is both, right? Like the idea needs to respond to, whether it's a business need or, make sure that you're delivering against those business goals. Whether that's just through process or strategic fit, like you need to be able to answer the question of why behind the idea.
Of
But
course.
then, conversely, if the idea doesn't make you feel something, that to me determines how impactful it's going to be. So I think the best ideas spark that visceral reaction, whether it's like
Mm-hmm.
goosebumps, it's laughter,
Emotion,
and
yes.
all of those emotions. And I think a great signal is that when you have those people around the table and you're sharing an idea, suddenly like they start to lean in a bit more and you see the head nods and the smile and they interrupt to start asking questions. I think that's a true sign as well that you just see. And quite frankly, like if you have to explain why an idea is exciting, like
Mm-hmm.
it's
It's
probably
not.
not.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know from your role that your insights and ideas can shape not just campaigns, but brand perception and community impact at the end. So, how do you ensure your voice and creative ideas are heard?
Again, if I go back to my, agency side and agency training, one thing I learned early on is to sort of build that buy-in before you get into the room. So, who's that decision maker and who can you do a little pre-sell with before the actual
Love that
meeting to have
concept, the
them
pre.
be part of it, get their fingerprints on it. So then when you actually get into the room, they've already bought in a bit. And I've found that, that strategy works both on the agency side as well as the brand side. And I think the other thing is like you need to remember that your influence, it's a derivative of your confidence and your presence. So like channel your inner Beyonce and just own it.
Love it. It's so important because and with this question that I always ask to my guests, it's crazy because regardless of your role, like how top you are in your career, you will always need for your ideas in a way to be here because either leadership by or your team follows. And if you
Yep.
don't own it, and it's hard sometimes because we might know like this is great, but how I sell it. And I love your concept of pre-selling because it's key, of course. Like if you already distribute and chat about the idea somehow and got insights from the decision makers or the team, then it's not a new thing. It's like they feel part. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta, lay those breadcrumbs before you get into the room.
Correct. Love that. And I feel that that works for many things, not
No.
just
Oh, it's
marketing.
it's a life hack as well.
Correct. No, no, I'm here like I know things that I can change. Love it. So, my love, what trend in marketing excites you the most right now and why?
Oh, I love a good high-low collaboration.
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw recently, Kraft Heinz did a
Hmm.
Capri Sun couture bag
Yes.
with Christian Siriano a couple weeks
Yes.
ago at Fashion Week, and it's just that sort of like highbrow coupled with something a bit more mainstream. Like different price points, different images, but like they work. And
Yes.
for Super Bowl this past year for Tequila Don Julio. We did a collaboration with Popeye's Chicken.
Hmm.
And we created crispy chicken sandwiches infused with Don Julio Reposado. We had wings that were infused. We had a much larger cultural program where we had merchandise, events, influencers, but it's all because the data supported the idea.
Of course.
We saw that people online were going to Popeyes, buying chicken sandwiches, and then buying baby bottles of Don Julio Reposado and just putting them onto the chicken. And then, all over social, they were eating it and just talking about how much they loved the taste.
What a beautiful.
So,
I mean, I love working for those type of brands where people genuinely are doing things like either crazy or like having fun and playing with the brand, and then having a brand like you, or leaders like you who say like, you know what, if they want this, we can do it. Like, we're here to
yeah,
have fun. I
like
love
this
it.
is this is really a thing, and you support it, you lean into it, and that's also like that's just a beautiful way to be tapping into and making culture while you're meeting culture.
Of course, love it. Thank you for sharing that. And definitely collaborations. I feel it's those type of things in marketing that will never stop surprising us, because there is a new brand every time, there is a new
Yeah,
consumer obsession every time. So there are many, many, many ways to do things that are different and exciting. Love it.
100%.
You mentioned something. I mean, you just talk about that was a consumer behavior that you noticed. In talking about consumers, which target audience or community do you find easiest and hardest to reach today, and why?
Gen Z.
Yeah.
But I think here's the easy part. They are so digitally native and just culturally fluent that you can reach them anywhere, like virtually anywhere. I think the hardest part is earning their trust, because they expect that cultural fluency, but they're not going to engage with you if they feel like you're a try hard, or you're chasing trends, or you're not meant to be there. So getting them to care about your brand, I think, is the tough part. So it's that tension with Gen Z. Getting their attention is easy, but gaining their affinity is hard.
And I was expecting, like, really waiting to have this conversation with you, because I'm passionate about everything that has to do with culture. Our audience includes majority of CMOs, SVP of marketing, like people in highest position. I know we also have audience that are starting their careers, but I think culture is such a big word. And for many marketers, sometimes, like, what would it be tapping into culture, right? And so my specific question is, you mentioned culturally fluent. I understand the term, but can you explain it more for the audience?
Yeah, I mean, culture is tied to people, right? Brands don't drive culture, people do. It's your behavior, it's your beliefs, it's your communities, it's, how you decide to tuck in your shirt. Like, truly, it's just like everything that surrounds you. So you need to be sure that when you are trying to connect in to a community, that you are being true and, the other overused word, but authentic
Mm-hmm.
to who they are, what they believe, what they are passionate about. You cannot just show up and pretend. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be real, and it has to be a fit, or it's not going to work. And you are going to take the people who you were trying to create that brand love and affinity with, and
The
just
opposite.
yeah. So it's just, you listen, know your audience. It's so important to get to know them before you can understand how your brand can really be a meaningful part of their life.
Love that. Yeah, I think the meaningful part of their life, it's key, because sometimes, or before, it's just this connection. Like, I sell this product. When do you use me? When do you consume me? So that's the connection. You and me, my product and yourself. And now it's like, this is my product or my brand, and this is you, and this is your universe. And I need to understand your universe, not only the moments when you consume my product specifically, but the whole universe, to really
Yes.
be part of your life.
Yes,
Crazy.
just
Love
because
it.
just because I'm a beverage and you have a mouth to drink with, like, it's not
Exactly.
enough.
Love it, love
we gotta
it,
find
love it.
we gotta find more.
Yeah, I think that's the best example. Super fun. My love, I already mentioned that our audience includes many women in the industry who hold high level leadership position, and yet, even with all their knowledge and experience, can still feel challenging to put themselves out there and start building their personal professional brand.
Yeah.
Since you are here at the Women Who Brand podcast, it's clear to me that you are actively building that, or at least you are willing to share your knowledge and your expertise, which end up making, contributing to the building of your personal professional brand. So my question is, when did you start or decide to start, and what has been one of the most rewarding moments along the way of sharing your thoughts, whether it's speaking, writing, whatever you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think my first step was building my brand in places where honestly I felt that psychological safety. So I think LinkedIn is it for me, it was a great place to start because you can share ideas, you can share updates because you have your community within LinkedIn supporting you. I also, like to this day, I will only agree to do speaking engagements, panels, podcasts when it's a topic and a discussion that I'm truly passionate about. I need to make sure it feels authentic to who I am. And as importantly, like something that I know I can share a real point of view. So that's important. And also, along my journey, I've had a group of women. There are four of us, and
Mhm.
we worked together back in Chicago. We're personally very close friends, and professionally, we're all in marketing. And we started referring to each other as each other's kitchen cabinet. And it was this
Okay.
idea that, like the president who has a cabinet of advisors, we are each other's like kitchen cabinet of female advisors to bounce ideas, share struggle, honestly, like anything that we're going through. And they've been my savior for so many things. Like if I was questioning something, if I like wanted a quick hit, does this make sense, like give perspective. And I think it's just like one of the many superpowers of just women helping and supporting.
Wow, you almost made me cry. And I know you're just sharing your story. It really got me emotional to know that we can have a group of women where we can really, really trust. It happens to me when I started 10 years ago. I attended one of the Ladies Wine and Design events, which is a community organized by Jessica Walsh, which I love her so much.
Yeah.
And it was the first moment in my life. I was just finishing my studies, and I thought the industry, the creative industry, was like male dominated. A lot of the things that I heard, I was like, I mean, I like it, but I don't really want to be part of this from the stories that I heard. And then I was there in the Ladies One and Design. It was a group of, I don't know, 40, 50 women in the industry talking, and I felt like this is the energy I like, that this can
I found,
exist.
yeah,
And I felt
yeah.
I cannot even explain my feeling, and I left that room thinking, okay, so I won't join any agency because I won't find this. And this is an NGO, so I cannot work just in an NGO. So I will build an agency that looks like this. Honestly, that was my feeling. And I
Incredible.
will have women in the agency, and I will like, and that's what I have. And I'm like really grateful because my meetings are like full of amazing women, and I love them. And sometimes I cry, and sometimes I just, I'm myself. I can be
And
myself with them.
you have the space to do that. And like
And
you
I
found
have
your
that.
people, like you created. That's amazing.
That is
It's
crazy.
I that's
But when you
amazing.
share, I feel we are always, or the moment we realize that that's a possibility and we build this type of connections and groups as you have with your friends, everything changes. Honestly, it was
Yeah.
like, yes.
Yeah, you always
So,
have that like, your little angel on your shoulder helping you.
correct.
It's a beautiful
Yes.
feeling.
And it's a beautiful advice for anyone listening. Honestly, like look around you and see who is that like amazing women in your network that you would like to go on a next level in the relationship, and just ask. I'm sure she will be as happy and surprised to receive your message on let's create this group and let's,
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Create your
Love it.
kitchen cabinet. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. So, last question of this section, my love. If you were a brand, what would your personal slogan and brand colors be?
Brand colors are easy. It would be bright, happy colors. It's so funny. I moved to New York and I was like, oh dear God, like everyone here wears black head to
Yeah.
toe. I think I own like two articles of black clothing. So that part's easy. I think personal slogan, I think I'd say like built for bold. Like, yes, bold colors, more just about like really pushing for those big bold ideas, not always playing it safe, like definitely not taking the path of least resistance, and kind of like just striving for that never been done before,
Love it.
pushing yourself into those places of being uncomfortable. That's how you grow.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. When I moved also 12 years ago to Berlin, I get there in the middle of the winter and I will wear my winter jacket. It was yellow in Germany, in Berlin. I was like a dot, like a yellow dot in Germany. And I also had like yellow shoes. So you could notice that I was there. It
Oh
was
yeah.
crazy. So, my love, let's move to the next section of the podcast. I'll do a little intro here because I always say at Crime that we care about people and about creating real connections. So, basically, to me, caring is not from an emotional standpoint, like, oh, I care about my audience. No, care requires time, effort, really paying attention, understanding. It might make the work harder in a way, but in my opinion, if you care enough, is when you actually can build these connections, and all that caring in a way turns into real results for the brand and for the community. So, in that
Yeah.
sense, I remember when we met and you told me about Diageo's purpose, celebrating life every day, everywhere, and how closely that aligns with your own purpose. So I would love for you to talk about how do you bring that purpose to life in your leadership and in celebrating your teams? And how do you make sure that that celebration translates into cultural excellence for the audience you serve?
I'm a huge, like, all caps believer in just celebrating the moments, like of course the wins, but also like just those moments of positivity where people are getting recognized. Anytime anyone sends me an email praising someone on my team for something they did, I immediately forward that email to said person, and I said, be attached, and please file this in your I am awesome folder. Like, people need to hear how great they are. And no matter what your level or your title, like, you need to know you're making an impact, that what you're doing matters and deserves celebration. And I think that's why, Diageo's very lucky to have a purpose that ladders up to celebrating those around us as well. I think, when it comes to like keeping celebration alive in relation to the audiences that
Mm-hmm.
we serve, the part two of that question, Bev Elk as an industry is very lucky because it lives in that intersection of culture and celebration. Like, so many moments in culture have celebration at their core. So if you think about music, sport,
Correct.
entertainment, fandom, the camaraderie, the community, Diageo's brands like it got to be associated with all of those moments of celebration. It's
That's
very
true.
special.
That's true. It's so, it's there basically. That's given in a way. Then it's a matter of caring enough to pay attention to the details so the brands can be relevant. So, what cultural challenges do you see for the brands you work with in the near future? Or not necessarily challenges, but what are you expecting? Like, what are those challenges or opportunities that you are excited to
Yeah.
experience?
I mean, I think it's a lot of where culture has been.
Mhm.
It is helping to determine where it's going to go. And it goes back to those basics of just you have to get it right. You have to make sure that you're connecting with people in a way that's going to make them want your brand, appreciate it, be a part of it, celebrate it, support it, and think about, again, back to the beginning, those people, places, and spaces that have alignment between your brand and that community you're looking to connect in. I don't see huge cultural shifts as much as more listening, more authenticity, more time to make sure what you're doing matters
Love that.
and is going to make that mark.
Love that. Yes, because culture continues to evolve, and the more attention you pay and the more you care, the better you will be and like relevant to that community. I love it. Honestly, thank you. I think sometimes it might sound simple, but it's really a challenge, to sit there and like trying to understand because each of us is unique.
Yeah.
So, like when you talk about culture and community, sometimes marketers and everyone tends to say, okay, for example, Latinos, everyone in the same bucket. And it's not like that. No community is a monolith. That's why it takes time. And what works for this part of the community doesn't work for this part of the community. And there are many parts. Also, I love when culture and brands focus on the hyper specific or local because I think
Yeah.
those hyper moments tend to be global in a way because normally they are connected to feelings. And that's also interesting that we have been seeing so far.
No, I mean, what you're saying is so true. Like, at the end of the day, we are all snowflakes. we're all very unique
Correct.
individual. And when you are able to drill it into that hyper local space and connectivity, that's where you really find those strong connections.
I don't know what your opinion here, but sometimes when we say hyper local or hyper specific, marketers can think like, yes, but I can do thousands of campaigns, like each for any specific community. But at the end of the day, it's like the power of that specific feeling that ends up connecting with everyone. But it's a challenge, in my opinion, because
Yes.
who guarantees that if you talk to a specific small niche of the community, that will make that huge impact? I don't know how you see it in your work.
Yeah, well, I do. And that's where, you have to do the homework, and you have to do the work behind it to make sure you're getting it right. And, you know, we all have budgets, and we all have, so it's also just being very mindful and thoughtful about what you want to do, how you're going to do it, and ultimately what those things are that are going to make the impact.
Correct.
It
Love
go
it.
it totally goes back to that art and science,
Yes, correct. Yeah, that combination for sure. And how you distribute the but yeah. Agree. So my love, let's move to the next session. Quick fire round. I will ask you a few questions and you say whatever comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Love it. So commercial spot or social media?
Oh, social.
Who creates the company? The audience or the team members?
Team, always team.
Winning an award or achieving real business results?
Business results, business outcomes, but I'm a big fan of the Effies. And when you have an
Yeah.
Effie, you're doing both. So,
Correct. Yes. If it will be the answer, love it. Culture first or product first?
culture. I mean, culture,
Yes.
people, yes.
Love it. One word that defines your leadership style.
Optimism.
Love it. Out of your answers, I would say also celebration because you
Yeah,
really celebrate people, and I love that. Communication in the US, English, Spanish, or both?
both.
What's your go to Diageo brand or drink when it's time to celebrate?
I think it depends on the time of year.
The hour?
Like, yes, how I'm feeling. I would say in the summer, I love me a good Don Julio Reposado Paloma. It's just
Okay.
they're so refreshing, so delicious. And in the winter, when I'm comfy and cozy, I'm going real dirty with a Kettle One martini, blue cheese olives.
I love it. I haven't tried that.
Oh, the olives like make the Kettle One makes the drink, but the olives are a beautiful enhancement to the drink.
Love it. The blue cheese, I haven't heard about it. I will definitely check it out. Winter is coming, so we can share one.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for this quick chat. And to close this episode, I'll ask you two more questions. The first one is, what does it mean to you to be a woman who brands? And what advice would you give to a woman in the creative industry, especially one in a leadership position?
For me, being a woman who brands, I think it's a couple things. It's about making an impact, not just making noise. I think it's about being courageous, making the bold moves, placing the big bets. Again, even when it feels uncomfortable, push yourself to do it. And I want to use my seat at the table to create an even longer table for all women to be a part of.
I love it. It's like music to my ears, your answers.
Yeah,
It's
and
so needed.
yeah. We need more seats. We need a real long table for all of us to be here and be present and lift each other up and support each other. I think my advice, it's something one of my mentors said to me a while ago that's always stuck with me. And he said that the most important decisions about your career are usually made when you are not in the room. So, job offers, uh, compensation, promotions. So, you really need to make sure that people are perceiving you the way you want them to, because when it comes to work, perception is reality in the work.
Love it. You are giving a lot of jewels here, like a lot of great advice. Honestly, you said things that I have never heard before, and I'm sure they will really help our audience. And I'm really grateful that you decided to share it here. So, really, thank you, Tracy. It's been my
Oh,
honor to have you.
thank you so much. I've loved beginning my day this way. Thank you.
Love it. So, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as I did. And to all women who brand listening or reading, remember your voice matters and your creativity has the power to inspire and lead. Until next time, ciao.